Alright, just sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Tuesday, special Tuesday edition, July the 19th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other, let's say that again, none other than Mr. RadioPete and Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing? You all right? Everybody okay? Everybody all right out there?
Is everybody hanging out today?
All right, that's a pretty snazzy song you got at the beginning of your show here.
I like that. Yeah, it's Babies Are Born Without Kneecaps. It's this really cool band in Denver, Colorado. They're really good. Their name is Log.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I heard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm one
pretty
of the few people who goes to all their shows.
I've heard you've been to every single Log show.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Almost as much as band members go.
Yeah, I haven't been able to franchise it yet and not be there, but I'm working on it.
You're working on that. I gotcha. All right. Anyway, so this is a special All-Star Tuesday, Major League Baseball All-Star Tuesday edition of our show. We're doing it Tuesday tonight because we want to do it. Get it in. It's 6:00 Eastern time right now. We want to get it in before the actual All-Star game starts because we have our top 10 of sorts tonight. This is the fun show, as you know.
They're all fun.
They're all fun. But this is just the
All-Star fun show.
This is the All-Star fun show.
We don't want All-Star. We don't want you to have the dilemma of watching the All-Star game or us.
So we do it before. So you watch us, then turn over to the All-Star game. We promise to be done before it starts, so don't worry about that. We'll be good. So anyway, all right. So again, how are you, gentlemen, on this fine summer evening? This All-Star Tuesday.
It's All-Star Tuesday, man. It's the only thing better than that is I don't know.
All-Star Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
All-Star Thursday.
All-Star Thursday. Yeah.
Maybe go. That I don't know. Do we like that? We enjoy like the day before and the day after when there's nothing going on.
Exactly. The only 2 days of the year where there are no professional sports games.
It's like no pressure to watch anything, so that you can talk about it.
There's a tennis match somewhere, I'm sure.
Well, the four big ones.
Yeah. Well, Wimbledon just ended, so.
Right. That's true. Yeah, Wimbledon ended, so there's no. I mean, there's. I'm sure there's some local stuff, but,
The Joker adding yet another championship to his resume.
I think the U.S. Open is next, but that starts, I don't know when. It
starts in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not hot enough in July.
Not hot enough in July. We got to wait till August. Exactly.
Queens in August.
Yes. Go play out there on that driveway.
Nothing like the smell of Flushing in the summer.
I know. And Corona Park is just beautiful in August. It really is. So anyway, all right. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. Not a whole hell of a lot, but with some things. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna enjoy a beer. I'm pre-gaming the All-Star game. So I'm gonna do another shameless plug. I'm having an awkward tan lines because it's summer Tuesday, and I'm enjoying this. So.
August 29th.
August 29th.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess it should be nice. The night game should be nice and cool.
While John's having a beer, I'm going to sniff some glue.
I'm going to. I just have
water
here. I'm digging. I was started using this last week because I always run out of water.
Is that for your OnlyFans site? That's an awfully long nozzle.
There's more than one way to skin a cat.
There's more than one way to earn a living.
Yeah. Well.
All righty.
There you go. Cheers.
Cheers. By the way, John, we still got to figure out how I can get my hands on some of that stuff.
Yeah, I got to get some out to you. We got to meet. We'll get together.
Yeah.
You guys could have talked while I was taking that sip. So.
Well, no, it was
interesting.
We want to enjoy your enjoyment.
There you go.
Nothing like awkward
silence while I'm drinking.
Unpreparedness that titillates this show more than anything else.
More than anything. Well, it's all about the unpreparedness. It's all about the unpreparedness because the ad-libbing is better than anything we could ever write. So
usually when after the show is over.
Right. Well, that's when we jot everything down and forget about it for the following week.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Oh well.
exactly.
All right. So what's our schedule of events here? We're going to talk
tonight.
about
Why don't we let's start off? We got a quickie. We got an MLB quickie.
Oh, we got quickies and we got a quiz. We got a quiz.
Let's do some quickies quickly.
We got a couple quickies. We got a list that I want to go over.
A list. All right. We don't shopping list.
Discuss it or whatever. We'll get there. It's in football, but we'll talk about that.
Football.
And then we'll move on to our top players, and we'll talk about the All-Star game. So the MLB quickie. Here we go. Just a quickie. We got to get music for that. We gotta have some music. Does this work? No, it doesn't. Never mind. I'm going to play it. There you go.
We are professional.
Nothing if not professional.
When is the StreamYard coming out with that upgrade?
They did.
Oh, they did.
I hear music.
I hear music. I hear laughter. But that's just in my earphones. But then I take them off and I still hear it. So anyway.
You mentioned something about quickies.
Let's do a quickie. All right, here we go. MLB quickie. Here we go. Finish this sentence. We'll start with Harry. Let's start with Harry on this one. All right. The MLB team that finishes with the worst record in the American League this year will be
disappointed.
All right. Disappointed. All right. Pete. I was looking for a team, but I like disappointed. That was good.
I think it'll be the Washington Nationals.
What was it? American League or National League or baseball?
Oh, I said American League right now.
So it'll definitely be the Washington Nationals. I mean, there's no worse team in the American League than a team that's not in the American League.
Exactly.
That's true.
Worst team in the American League will be the Oakland A's.
Okay, fair enough. And would be the A's. Pete? Worst team in the team that finishes with the worst record in the American League this year will be.
I'm going to say just to be different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say the Angels.
Wow. Okay.
I think they're going to falter.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Same question the opposite way. The MLB team that finishes with the worst record in the National League this year will be Harry.
Well, I'm going to go with what I said earlier.
Disappointed.
The Washington Nationals.
Gotcha. Pete?
I'll say, just to be different, I'll say Arizona.
Diamondbacks. All right. Well, there you go. There's your quickie. Harry says the American League team that will finish with the worst record this year will be disappointed, but it will be the A's. And Pete says the Angels. They will falter, and they will wind up with the worst record. And the worst team in God, what?
I'll also add relieved.
And relieved.
The season is over. So they'll be disappointed and relieved. And they'll be Arizona and
there you go.
And the Angels.
And then
the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim Disney World.
There you go. And Harry says the National League will be the Nationals as well. And Pete, obviously, the Diamondbacks. All right. There you go. That's the quickie. All right. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to today's quiz. Jump right into the quiz. What do you think?
Quiz it up. Let's go.
Quiz it up. Let's do the quiz.
I got my pen. I'm ready to write things down.
All right. Let's do this. All right. We're doing MLB catchers. Last 2 weeks ago, we did
best major league catchers in the last 2 weeks.
Best major league catchers in the last 2 weeks. Yes.
All right.
We did 2000 to present day, so it was about 22 years. We're going to do 1970 to 2000.
This is right in my wheelhouse.
1970 to 2000. Give me a 6. You got to keep 2.
A long time.
I know. See, I was thinking about it. If we did a longer time, you're going to get better ones instead of just a shorter span.
I gotcha.
Yeah, because there's barely 6 good catchers over the span of, let's say, 10 years.
10 years, right? Hardly even happen, right?
So yeah.
So
going 30. This makes the list harder on you, I think, because you have to narrow it down.
Right.
Well, are you talking to me or John?
John.
Me.
Because he's got to narrow down 30 years.
I have to narrow it down because you don't narrow it down. So.
No, I mean him.
You just find 2 guys you don't like and you pick the other 4.
Yeah.
You pick the other 4.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's easy for me, no matter what.
Right, exactly.
But John's got to go through.
That's true.
30 to 40 years of catchers now.
That's right.
To narrow it down to the best 6.
This is where his OCD comes in handy.
It works big wonders in this. So I have a system.
Johnny Bench was only 73 to 93.
I got to go to Kmart. All right.
With runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs in a Tuesday afternoon game, Johnny Bench hit 138.
Not distracted. But I can remember exactly what color socks I was wearing when the Mets won on April 19th in 1977.
I can remember that actually because they only won 1 game in 77, so it was very easy to figure that out.
Right. And your socks were definitely Mickey Mouse.
They were Mickey Mouse. They were. All right. I just got back from Disney World. It was the whole thing. Anyway, okay. MLB catchers, 1970 to 2000. Give me
all right, let her rip.
4 got to stay. 2 got to go. Write these down. Here we go. Pudge Fisk. Carlton Fisk. All right. Johnny Bench.
Told you Johnny Bench was going to be on this.
Of course.
I had my Johnny Bench batter up in 1983.
Oh, please. My Johnny Bench batter up was really, really good. I used to throw young
Cold
children
cuts
at
it.
Just throw a bologna at it. It just bounced right back. I threw a bologna sandwich at it and then ate it.
Did you ever throw a pet? Did you ever try throwing the dog at it?
We've done that.
Bounce back into your arms.
We played other sports with John's dogs, but never. The batter up was never involved.
It was not. No, it wasn't.
I feel like you're infringing on my territory now.
In any event. All right. Carlton Fisk, Johnny Bench. Gary Carter. Lance Parrish.
Ooh, that's a nice. Also a DH.
Sure. Michael Piazza. And Tony Pena.
Oh, yeah. Big Red Machine.
There you go.
I don't want to keep any of these guys.
Not even Piazza.
I do hate all these guys, by the way. Think about each and every one of them. It's irritating.
Carlton Fisk, Johnny Bench, Gary Carter, Lance Parrish, Mike Piazza, and Tony Pena.
My answer is Thurman Munson.
There you go.
God damn it.
I left Thurman Munson off specifically for you because
you're like the Hall of Fame. You're like the Hall of Fame.
Right. Well, no, because honestly, if I put Thurman Munson in there, you would have picked him. And honestly, I would have picked him too. And I got a feeling Radio Pete actually would have picked him. So
yeah.
I went with ones that were a little bit more. He doesn't
like any Yankees, but Yankees who die, he's okay with.
No, Munson was always the guy.
How could you not like Thurman Munson?
Exactly. I didn't not like him.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. All right.
Oh, I thought you were accusing me.
No.
After I denied it.
There you go. All right. Radio Pete.
I saw your fuck Munson shirt.
Yeah, that was Earl Munson.
That's right.
Earl Munson.
That guy can go fuck himself.
It was Herman Munson. He thought it was. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Johnny Bench has got to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Piazza's got to stay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Lance Parrish goes.
Okay.
Yeah. I shouldn't not like Gary Carter, right?
I love Gary Carter.
I'm a Met fan. I shouldn't not like.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not as good as the other guys on this list.
Yeah. He was one of the best catchers in the 80s.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, on the other hand, what did Fisk do ever besides hit that home run?
Oh God,
Carlton Fisk was a great catcher.
Oh, that's all. Oh, he's waving it fair. What else did he ever do?
he's like a 27-time All-Star.
Tony Pena, I know nothing about, but he was good.
He knows nothing about him, but he was good.
That I know. No, that's what I know.
You mean you know less about Tony Pena than Carlton Fisk?
He never waved a home run fair.
You know, not that you remember.
That I remember.
There you go.
All right, Carter's going.
Wow. All right. So you're keeping Pudge and Pena.
Yep. Fisk, bench, Piazza, Pena.
There you go. All right. Harry.
I'm getting rid of Carter and Parrish.
Same. Wow. You guys agree?
That's pretty easy.
No.
I mean, look, Gary Carter's a great player. Lance Parrish is a great player. Lance Parrish would probably be the last one on this list, although his numbers are better than I think people remember them to be.
Yeah, they really
and
are.
I think his career got helped when he was more of a DH later on. One of the biggest dudes ever to play baseball, though, from what I remember. Piazza, you got to give it to him because he's arguably the best offensive catcher or top 3 offensive catchers ever to play the game.
Mm-hmm. The other one's on here.
Even though he's, Gary Sanchez behind the plate.
Liability, yeah.
Actually, he was way better than Sanchez.
Nice.
But Tony Pena, just great. His numbers don't really add up to what he does. And in this situation, for what he did with those teams back then and catching that pitching staff, and yeah, I mean, I think you got to give it to him. But yeah, Carlton Fisk and Johnny Bench are always at the top of everybody's list for best catchers of all time. And I'm assuming we're talking about the Tony Pena that played in the 80s, because isn't there like current Tony Penas?
It's the Tony Pena that played in the 80s. Yes. Yeah. So, all right. Here's a little.
I mean, here's one thing with Pena, and I think it's more of his defense. His numbers were not outstanding,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was pretty damn good.
18 years in the league. Holy cow.
I got a little question for Harry. And we're not going to change it. This is the list. You both decided on Carlton Fisk, Johnny Bench, Mike Piazza, and Tony Pena. So, but just as a caveat here, if I take one of the 2 guys that you guys didn't pick out and put Thurman Munson in, who gets
Pena's gone.
Pena's gone?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Pete?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, there you go. That's this week's quiz. Good job. All right.
I think that's how many? Two total agreements, maybe?
2 total agreements.
And
in the last
that's more than Congress in the last 10 years.
This is true. This is very true. All right. Let's move on to NFL. We got an NFL.
We got a little NFL and an All-Star Major League Baseball Tuesday.
We got a little NFL, just quizzes, just fun stuff.
Okay.
There you go. We're not reporting any information. Training camp start next week, so we'll talk.
Fire away.
So we got I got a question for both of you. Got a little got 2 questions for you. Not a quickie or whatever. Just a couple questions for you guys, and then I want to talk about this one.
Let's be honest. There's nothing
quick about them. Just no, there's some quick stuff. Okay, Harry and Pete, whoever wants to go first, doesn't matter. Right. Based on who was drafted rookies in the NFL this year.
Okay, this year.
What you know? Yeah. Who would you say is going to win Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
All right. I'll put up whatchamacallit. I'll throw up a list here. It's mine, but it's their,
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Ahmad Gardner, Sauce Gardner, Kayvon Thibodeau, Akeem Aquanu, Evan Neal, Derek Stingley, Gary Wilson, Charles Cross, Drake London. Could be anybody else. Could be people that aren't on the top 10 here. But just out of curiosity, who do you think?
These are the top 10 picks?
These are the top 10 picks, yeah. They're not in order. They're not in the right order. But
who's going to win Rookie of the Year, or who's going to have the
best season? Well, shouldn't the person with the best season win Rookie of the Year?
Not necessarily, because you could have an offensive lineman or somebody like that who dominates, and they're not going to win Rookie of the Year.
Right.
If somebody is scoring points.
Mm-hmm. All right, give me both. Who do you think of? All right, tell you what. Of these.
Put them back up.
Of these, I'll put these back up. Of these draft picks, of those 10 guys, who do you think is going to have the best season? Let's do it that way.
I think Sauce Gardner.
Okay. All right. Pete, you agree with that? Or you want to do a little reciprocity and say Kayvon Thibodeau? I'm kidding, by the way.
I also think Evan Neal's going to have a hell of a season.
I agree. I do agree.
I think who's going to have the best season?
Mm-hmm. Of these 10 draft picks, top 10, who would have the best season?
You picked Sauce, Harry?
I do. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be an impact player.
So it's no more Revis Island. It's going to be Sauce Island.
Well, quarterbacks typically have a couple years usually to transition, but he might get burned a few times and he might not. But I think he seems to get to the ball a lot, so I think he'll have some big plays, and I think he'll be a very noticeable impact player in his first year.
Yeah.
I would say Walker too, but I think Walker is going to be part of the problem of being on Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be easily double teamed. And so, I think it's easier for a cornerback on these teams that are not great to be able to look, Houston's, he's going to have a lot of chances, Gardner. So
he's on the Jets, actually. That's not the right.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing.
Walker's
still gonna
Walker's there, but Sauce Gardner is on the Jets.
Yeah, I knew he was.
Move all of them down one. I think somebody popped up. Yeah.
Same thing. He's going to get a lot of, and I think being in the New York market will help his exposure.
I'm going to say Garrett Wilson.
Okay. Yeah. Who's going to throw to him?
Doesn't matter.
What team did he go to? Did he go to Seattle?
Did he go to Seattle? Let's find out. Let's see. Let's get the actual teams that these guys went to.
Oh no, he's on the Jets.
He's on the Jets. Yeah.
Oh, he's on the Jets too. Yeah. Okay.
Garrett Wilson.
Well, maybe. Look, he's got somebody to throw to him, and just as long as his mom's not hot. Garrett Wilson's mom. Right now, Zach is Googling that.
Although,
I'm in love with Garrett Wilson's mom.
Honestly, it could be Thibodeau, too.
She won't even have to change her name.
Yeah, probably, right. Well, you know what? That's what I was saying. I just said that in jest because...
no, I mean, it could be.
Because Harry said Sauce, and then you say Thibodeau, so it's like Harry's thinking of Jet, and you're thinking of Giant. So, yeah.
I'll say Wilson to be more.
Trayvon Walker did indeed go to the Jags. Aiden Hitchinson went to the Lions. Stingley went to Houston, and then everybody kind of moved down. Sauce Gardner went to the Jets. Kayvon Thibodeau went to the Giants. Akeem Okonu went to the Panthers. Evan Neal went to the Giants. Drake London, I had him in the 10th spot. He went to the Falcons. Charlie Cross, I had right when he went to Seattle, and Garrett Wilson went to the Jets. So just a little shifting around slightly of that, and that's your top 10. So those guys are in the top 10, but
yeah. So what were we just picking? Who we think is going to have the best?
Who we think is going to have the best season of these 10 guys?
Oh. Yeah, I would probably say Evan Neal actually first, but I don't know how you measure that.
There's measure.
Well, you can measure that by how many times Daniel Jones actually fumbles the ball.
Yeah, the problem I think with that measurement system is that if you had a decent quarterback, then it would be easier to measure. But Daniel Jones can drop the ball because somebody breathed on him.
Well, look at it this way, though. You're right, but look at it this way: if Daniel Jones, and I know it's going to make Harry laugh, and probably half of the people that are watching the show. But if hypothetically speaking, Daniel Jones has an incredible year, no fumbles, 2 picks all year. I'm being hypothetical here. All right. All right. So just saying, right? Clearly, the offensive line, getting
Clearly we
solid.
entered a different universe.
Yeah.
Clearly they suited somebody up inside.
Clearly,
his
Daniel
universe.
in that scenario, Daniel Jones only threw 6 passes.
Actually, Daniel Jones has
Oh,
been
right.
He's been replaced by
He was
Superman
replaced in the second quarter of
That's
game
right.
1.
He's been replaced by Khalil.
He's been replaced by Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, all right. I'll say Garrett Wilson.
I think Garrett Wilson's a good choice. Here's my dark horse. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's going to be a pretty good quarterback.
I do too. I got to tell you that. And the whole small hands thing is just stupid. I mean, what is it? Like quarter-inch smaller hand? I mean, what the hell does that mean?
Well, that didn't stop what's his name in pickleball. Baby hands. Baby hands Pickett.
This guy.
He's a champion. That guy's a two-time
baby
champion
hands
right
Pickett.
Baby hands Johnson. Baby hands Pickett. Right. But no.
Toddler hands Pickett.
Toddler hands Pickett.
I don't think those baby hands you can play in the NFL.
He's not holding the football.
Toddler hands you could get away.
There you go.
Well, what's
he's
his
throwing
name?
a smaller football too. One of those small
Doug
little.
Flutie had toddler hands, right?
He did. He did have small hands. He did. So anyway, but not that you're asking, but I will. I'll actually go out and say I actually agree with. You know what? I like your dark horse, Kenny Pickett. You know what? I'm going to go with that because I like both of your picks, both Sauce and Garrett Wilson too. I think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to have an awesome year. I really do. Is it going to be better than Sauce Gardner's year or Garrett Wilson's year? Marginally, they'll probably be better. But I'm going to say all in all, because of the position he plays, Kenny Pickett is probably the right
if
call
he actually winds up starting. The one thing about Wilson on the Jets is that if the Jets had another number 1 receiver who is going to make it really easy for Wilson to sort of not have a lot of attention on him, then I would say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But they don't. So,
right. However,
I do think the Jets' special teams this year they're going to have a lot of speed on them, and he might get involved in that. So it's interesting. He's got great potential. We'll see.
We will see. All right. All right. Now, based on that, and we've gone over a couple of names and everything else, who's going to win MVP? I'm not MVP. Rookie of the
year.
Rookie of the year.
I don't know. I mean, who's won it in the last couple of years? It's usually always an off. Well, did Micah Parsons win it?
Did he win it last year? Maybe he did.
Who's won it the last few years? Because it's always an odd. It's never who I think it should be, unless it's obvious.
Who has won it the last couple of years?
Let's see if we can. All right, let's see. Here we go. What year are we in? Lamar Chase last year.
Yes.
Justin Herbert.
Do they have offensive and defensive rookie of the year?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So here's your last 5 offensive: Chase, Herbert, Kyler Murray, Saquon, Kamara, and Dak.
Right.
Defensive: Micah, Chase, Bosa, Darius Leonard, and Marshawn Lattimore, and Joey Bosa. So linebackers, defensive ends.
Linebackers, defensive ends,
one
wide receiver, and then wide receivers and quarterbacks.
Well, 2 running backs. Kamara.
Two running backs. Yeah, Lamar. Yeah.
So coming from 217 forward, running back, quarterback, wide receiver. On the defensive side, corner, linebacker, defensive end, linebacker.
I'm gonna on the defensive side, I'm gonna go a Giant and a Jet. I'm gonna stick with Sauce Gardner as my number 1 pick to win defensive rookie of the year, and I think Kayvon Thibodeau's got a good shot for the Giants. On the offensive side, I think Kenny Pickett and Drake I don't know. Atlanta's offense is just. I like Drake London. I think he's a great player. I'm going to go Christian Watson with the Packers and Kenny Pickett. Those are my top two choices for offensive rookie of the year. I think Watson's going to get a lot of opportunities, and he's got Aaron Rodgers thrown to him.
All right.
I'm gonna stick with Wilson for offense. I think Thibodeau for defense.
Yeah,
Wilson.
Let's hope
that's flashy. That edge position. That's good. His good plays will make the highlights all the time.
No, let's hope so.
Well, because they do, right? Sacks,
yeah,
tend to be highlight worthy.
And if the Giants have historically been very good at drafting two positions, wide receiver and defensive lineman. So we shall see.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Even though, I still
John,
don't really
who's
know
your defensive pick?
I'm going to say Thibodeau. I really like. I said this a few shows ago. I was upset when when the Giants left.
I was upset when the Giants did fill in the blank. Anything.
I was upset when the Giants did
finish the 1992 season.
I was upset when Patrick Graham bailed. With Brian Flores stuff going on. But I'm pretty excited to see the defense that Don Martindale puts on the field.
Old Wink Martin. It's got that long microphone, so it's going to be interesting.
He's got that long microphone
and the big lapels.
Right.
That'd be great.
Exactly.
That'd be great if you had a cue cards on the side and wore the polyester suit.
Exactly.
What game did he do? Which game show did he do?
Wink Martindale. It was
Card Sharks.
Tic Tac Doe.
Wasn't it Card Sharks?
Card Sharks. He did a few.
Yeah,
I think he briefly did. Did he brief? I can't remember. Did he briefly do?
I'm
Family
sure he
Feud?
did a number of them, but
I think he might have done Family Feud for a short period of time too.
It could very well have been. Yeah. Didn't we go over that on one show?
Probably. We don't remember that.
We don't know.
Tic Tac Doe.
Tic Tac. I said Tic. Did I just say that? Tic Tac.
I don't know. I don't listen to you.
Nobody does. So, Tic Tac Doe. He did. Yeah, Wink Martindale. All right. And just thoughts on MVP. Who would you?
Overall MVP.
Overall MVP.
I think that it's going to be
a three-peat.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Oh, fair enough.
Who should have won it last year.
I think
Who do you think?
What do you know? What do you know there, Pete? Come on, pick somebody.
I think it's going to be Tom Brady.
That'd be great if it was.
I think you're probably right, and I have a feeling that if he wins a Super Bowl and gets another MVP, he's done.
Yeah, but I mean, winning an MVP is tough because Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I mean, the press loves him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
That's who picks the MVP, right?
This is true. Yeah. All right. So we got our answers for this. Good. We had an extra one too because we threw in the best rookie season too. So good job. One quick question for both of you. This is an easy one. It's a one-stop. Doesn't have to have a lot of conversation about it. But who will win first this year, the Giants or the Jets? Harry.
I don't know. Who did the Giants start the season against?
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the schedules.
That's a good question.
All right. The Giants. It's preseason. The Giants start
We're talking regular season, right?
regular season. Yeah, the regular season against. They open up against the Titans away. Then they come home and play the Panthers. Then they stay home and play the Cowboys. Then they still stay home and play the Bears. Then they go to Green Bay. Then they come back home for the Ravens.
Wait, I'll tell you what. Let's
You read it.
You read the Giants. I'll read the Jets.
All right, game 1, Giants at Tennessee.
Jets are at the Eagles, right?
Jets are at the Ravens.
Ravens.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. They're home. They're hosting the Ravens.
Hosting the Ravens. Okay. Game. All right. So anything there, Harry?
I don't think
no one's won yet.
No one's
neither team's won yet.
No.
All right. Stop us. Stop. We'll just keep reading. Stop us when somebody's winning.
Yeah. That's I think.
I think we're going to be week 7 or 8.
All right. So the Giants come home week 2, come home and host the Panthers.
Well,
All right. Well, wait a minute. The Jets travel to Cleveland week 2 to take on the Jacoby Brissett Browns.
All right.
This has to be a win for somebody.
Yeah.
All right. What time is the game scheduled for?
1 o'clock.
Oh, look at that. The Giants are at 1 o'clock too.
Now it is the Jets and the Giants, so they're both perfectly capable of losing these games.
Sure.
All right. What's week 3?
Week 3, the Giants are home against the Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah.
Jets host the Bengals.
Okay. Week 4.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, the Giants. By the way, that's a Monday night football game, so it's the day after the Jets host the who?
Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah, so they're not beating Bengals. I want to say the Jets could beat Cleveland, but they can't. I mean, they could, but they won't.
I think the Giants will either win that game against the Panthers or the Bears.
Bears are week 4, home week 4.
And the Jets play the Steelers. They're both 11 o'clock games in Pittsburgh. Jets could win that game. I'm going to go with the Giants. I think the Giants win. I think both teams win week 4, but the Giants-Bears game finishes first.
So you don't think the Giants are losing to the Panthers and the Jets are losing to Cleveland week 2?
I don't know. I mean, I'm going to take the Giants because I think they have a better chance of beating the Panthers than the Jets have of beating Cleveland, just slightly.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that one of them will win before week 4 or on week 4.
You know what? I'm going to take the Jets over the Browns.
Okay.
So I think they're going to win week 2.
Well, so I'm going to take the Giants. And we'll see if they win week 2 or week 4.
All right. That's
so
2. All right, cool.
Yeah, the Browns are going to suck. Boy, what a ratings grabber, the Jets and Browns.
Yeah.
There you go. This is true. All right.
Somebody's truck is backing up.
Somebody's truck is backing up.
That's
a car alarm. Your car's backing up.
Garbage truck is outside.
No, it's I think it's the girl who lives across the.
Is it?
There's a teenage girl who lives across the street, and
you have an alarm set for whenever she's.
No, she like she gets mad at her mother, I think, and she goes and sits in the car.
Okay.
But something about she doesn't
not that you
unlock
know
it correctly.
Not at all.
No, it's just it goes off all the time, and then mom comes out on the front porch and yells at her to get her ass in the house.
Nice.
Pete. Vanessa is outside. I thought you'd be interested in knowing.
She's expecting you at the sliding glass door.
Wow.
All right. I just want to go over this one list. I found this interesting. I pulled this up, and I want your thoughts. I want your thoughts. Here we go. It was posted by fan sided, I think it is, all of that. They're ranking the top 10 running backs in New York Giants history.
There's been 10 good running backs.
Top 10. Well, the top 10, good or not, they're ranking the top 10 running backs in New York Giants history. All right. So tell me if
Ron Dane, number 1, right?
Tell me if you agree with this. Yeah. No.
Leon Bright.
Leon Bray, right? Exactly. Okay, here we go. I'll just go through them, and you tell me if you agree with them or not.
Okay.
Number 10, Saquon Barkley.
Let's hope at the end of his career he's higher on that list.
Yeah. No. Number 9, Ron Johnson.
Hmm.
Running back back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Didn't play very long, did he?
No.
The Giants.
Number 8, Ahmad Bradshaw.
He just doesn't know how to stop at the 1 yard line, but
well, he just had so much momentum. Number 7, Otis Anderson.
He'd be higher on my list.
Number 6, Alex Webster. Going all the way back to the 50s.
He played a long time for the
He
Giants, didn't he? Yeah.
He did. Into the 60s, he did. Number 5, Brandon Jacobs.
Jacobs, man, was a workhorse.
He was.
Did he won a Super Bowl with the Giants, right?
Yeah.
2. Did he win 2?
He won 2. Yeah. He won 2. He won both the Super Bowls in 07 and 2011. Number 4, Joe Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Rodney Hampton.
Yeah, Hampton was another guy. I don't know if I'd have him ahead of Brandon Jacobs, but he was a workhorse.
He was a workhorse. He had almost 7,000 yards in 104 games played. So,
how many yards did who was that? That was Hampton.
That was Hampton.
How many did Brandon Jacobs have?
Brandon Jacobs had 5,094 yards.
Really? Rodney Hampton had that many more yards?
Rodney Hampton had, yeah. Joe Morris had 5,296 yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the all-time leading rusher for the Giants is Rodney Hampton?
Nope.
No, it's Tiki.
We're not there yet. So 3 is Rodney Hampton. The second best running back in Giants history. We just did Joe Morris was number 4. Would be Frank Gifford.
Yeah.
All right. He had 136 games played and only 3,609 yards. But there was a lot of other stuff going on back in those days too. So wasn't he a punter and their accountant? Right. Exactly. And he actually called the game too while he was on the field. Right. So, and then of course, as if you didn't guess it, the greatest running back in New York Giants history, Tiki Barber, by far. Over 4,000 yards more than Rodney Hampton. 10,449 yards from scrimmage in 154 games played. 2,217 attempts, Tiki Barber. So
he's the only great Giant that I just don't like.
No,
I think he's kind of an asshole.
So
that's just my assessment. But he was a great running back. I think if I wanted to win one game with the game on the line, I would pick Joe Morris or Otis Anderson over Tiki Barber.
I'd take Little Train Joe Morris any day.
Yeah.
But Joe Morris didn't have anywhere near as long of a career as
no. And Otis Anderson, if you look at his total career, I mean, look, he was discarded when he came to the Giants.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He was in St. Louis for years. He was
the prototype of all the running backs we've had since, up to Saquon.
Right.
Saquon's got the potential, if he could stay healthy, which I hope he does, to be the best on this list. Has there ever been a running back with higher regards coming out of college than Saquon Barkley on the Giants? I don't think so. I don't
think so either.
Obviously, Ron Dane was a Heisman Trophy winner, but I don't think anybody expected anything out of him quite near what Saquon Barkley.
I don't think so either.
So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, Tiki Barber's numbers are pretty impressive, and he did it for a while. He just kind of quit a little too soon.
He quit 1 year too soon. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
His brother was a pretty good player too.
Rondé was a great player.
Yeah.
So,
are they both in the Hall of Fame? Is Tiki Barber in the Hall of Fame?
Tiki Barber's not in the Hall of Fame.
Not in the Hall of Fame, really?
No, Yeah, but he was with me in May. So
there you go. Who on that list other than Gifford and I'm not even sure Otis Anderson's who anybody else on the in the Hall
Frank
of Fame?
Gifford. It's it.
Just Gifford. Otis Anderson's not in the Hall of Fame.
Negative. He is not. Yep. No Giants. No Giants running backs other than Frank Gifford, and there's a couple older ones back in the 30s and 40s. But
Webster never made it to Hall of
Alex
Fame?
Webster. I don't believe. You know what? That's a good question. I don't think so, but let's check. Here we go. Alex Webster. Alex Webster. There we go. My computer doesn't like to type the entire word.
The entire word Webster?
No, Alex Webster. All I had was stir. Okay, Alex Webster. Okay. It just gave me
Alex Webster was a pretty awesome running back too.
It just gave me Alex Webster from the death metal band Cannibal Corpse. Yeah.
Good band.
Here we go. Alex Webster is not in the Football Hall of Fame. He is not.
Otis Anderson, 10,273
Career yards, not Giants.
4 yards per carry, 86 touchdowns.
For career yards, not.
Well, I know. I'm just, but that counts towards his.
Oh no, towards Hall of Fame. Oh, of course.
You know what? He has 2 more of the Tiki
touchdowns.
Rings.
Oh,
rings.
I see where you went there.
There's two more fumble recoveries.
Two extra fumble recoveries, right? So yeah,
I mean that list is pretty right. I think I'd have OJ Anderson a little high. I think I'd have Joe Morris maybe.
I might have flipped. Joe Morris and Rodney Hampton.
Yeah, even though
Hampton's I probably would have had Rodney Hampton at
2.
No, I probably would have had Rodney Hampton at 4. I would have done that. I would have flipped the 2 of them. Brandon Jacobs. I'm pretty. I like the list the way it is. Unfortunately, I would love for Saquon to move up on this list greatly, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's
hope this is the year where Saquon can have another
stay healthy, have another year, or even better than he had his rookie year.
Yeah, I'll take
prove that he's solid. They re-sign him, something or whatever, and then he just becomes a workhorse for the next 5 years for the Giants, and then maybe he does move up on the list far. But I don't think.
If he averages 1,500 yards a year for the next 6 years,
he could do that.
Yeah,
he could certainly do that. So,
what did he have his rookie year? Didn't he have
his rookie year
1,600 yards, 1,400 yards?
1,600, and he almost 3,000 all-purpose yards. He had it was like a lot. It was crazy, or maybe 2.
Well, that was the other thing. Joe Morris's receiving yards
were a lot. Yeah,
yeah.
He definitely caught a lot of passes in the flat. So
every third down 6, third down 16, third down 2, third down and 80. Mm-hmm. Screen to Joe Morris.
Third down, and folks, if you're not aware, there were actually several third down and 80 plays for the Giants back in the day. So that's not a stretch.
No.
So anyway,
Bavaro in motion. Sims drops back. Drops back again. Drops back some more. Dumps it to Morris. There's 12 guys around him. He goes right. He goes left.
and
picks up 14 yards on a 3rd and 15.
It picks up it picks up 14 yards, but it only got him back to the line of scrimmage because Sims dropped back too far.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right, cool. Well, there you go. That's our.
That's a pretty good list.
I think that's a good list. I think that was all right. All right. Hey, let's go to where. Well, I never changed any background, but let's go to baseball. Let's do
baseball,
our
reason. It's the All-Star game.
The reason that we're here tonight is the All-Star game that's happening in about an hour and 10 minutes, ish.
Let's get this done before it starts.
So let's get this done before it starts. Let's read through it. All right. So what we're doing is we're going to go back and forth, folks. We're gonna read you. We're going to read you the All-Stars that the selection committee and obviously the fan voting as well picked for your starters. No. We're going to read them. I don't have the ones that are actually playing tonight as the starters up. But I do have our list. So,
all right.
So I'll read them, and then we'll put up what we have. One at a time kind of thing we'll do. All right. So we'll start with who's actually We'll start. The first one I say is who's actually starting. I'll throw this up here too. Obviously, tonight's top 10 list is not a top 10. Obviously, it's top starting players for tonight's Major League Baseball All-Star Game 2022. All right. So we're going to kick it off with the American League. Throw that up there. Right. This is the American League.
Senior circuit.
The senior circuit, right? We're going to start with first base. The actual selection committee and the fan voting picked Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to be your starting first baseman, and us here on the Get On With It podcast did the same. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So
I didn't.
Well, Pete and I did. So default.
I thought you were going to go through all of our picks.
Well, we can. I'm going to. You didn't get there yet.
Okay. Right.
I will let you know.
By the way, there's a lot of good first basemen in baseball right now.
Especially
in the National League.
Out of 20 picks, the four of us, there's only 4 that aren't on this list that didn't make it. So, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Is the first baseman, and Harry, why don't you tell us who you picked?
I don't know. I don't remember. I thought you had all this stuff on the graphic. I thought you were just going to put it up there so you could look at it.
I didn't make a graphic for it.
I don't know who I picked.
I know who you picked.
Tell us who
you picked. Luis Arias.
That's right. His last album was fantastic.
It was. You had a great beat. You could dance to it. It was really nice. Anyway, Luis Arias. There you go. That was Harry's pick, but Vlad was picked between myself and Radio Pete. Hence, that's the Get Out With It podcast pick. There you go. All right, moving on to second base. Second base, the actual starter tonight is Jose Altuve from Houston, and our pick was unanimously Jose Altuve.
Bastard.
There you go. For third base, the starter tonight is Rafael Devers. Excuse me, Devers. That was Devers.
Is it Devers or Devers?
I think it's Devers. I said Devers. People say Devers. Some people say Smith.
Raffy Devers. He's been down too long.
We'll call him Devers. So Rafael Devers. And our pick was indeed Rafael Devers.
Unanimous.
He's having a hell of a year.
He is. He really is. The pick for tonight from the selection committee and the fan voting for shortstop in the American League is Tim Anderson from the Chicago White Sox. However, this is our first one that we all are against. We all unanimously picked Xander Bogaerts. There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go. And just ask all 3 of us. We'll tell you. So Xander Bogaerts should be. Now, with that being said, Xander Bogaerts is a reserve tonight. He is picked to the All-Star game. He's not a starter. That's all. So on that note. All right. Moving on to the outfield. The selection committee picked Mike Trout as one of the outfield starters, and so did we. All 3 of us did. The selection committee also picked
that kid's going to go somewhere.
I believe you know what? All he needs is a break, I think. What do you think?
Yeah. I think he just needs a little bit of recognition.
Yeah. He's not getting much. All right. Also in the outfield, starting tonight is Aaron Judge, and we picked Aaron Judge as well. And again, starting in the outfield tonight, Giancarlo Stanton starting in the outfield, and we did not pick him. Unanimously, we all picked Andrew Benintendi. So there's another one we went against, and and in his honor, I'm wearing his jersey. So
let's hope he's in pinstripes after the trade deadline.
There you go. Exactly. And with all due respect, Andrew Benintendi is an all-star, but he's a reserve. He's not a starter. All right. Designated hitter. The selection committee picked Shohei Ohtani. That's who they picked, Shohei Ohtani. However, the Get On With the podcast picked Yordan Alvarez.
This guy's having a year.
And he's having a great year. He's having a better year than Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
He is.
A lot of people are.
However, there was one of us that did not pick Jordan Alvarez. Actually picked Shohei Ohtani. Who might that be?
That would be RadioPete.
That would be
loves
RadioPete.
He's got a man crush on Ohtani.
Now but outside of that, let me tell you why. I actually agree with you guys as far as if you look at the numbers, Alvarez is having a better year, no question about that. But I mixed a couple of things into my selections, and one of them was who do the people want to see, and that's Shohei Ohtani.
Fair enough.
I mean, he's a superstar, and so yeah, I actually agreed with you.
He's the show. It's in his name.
Yeah, probably Alvarez deserved it more based on his performance on the field, at least batting wise. But Ohtani is, one of the faces of the league.
And he's going to pitch to himself tonight in the first ever.
Yeah, I want to see him strike himself out, and I want to see him hit a home run off himself.
He's going to do it.
If he doesn't do both of those things, I'm going to be very disappointed.
He's going to do that in the home run derby.
Yeah, but that's why I chose it.
I'm still waiting for somebody to throw a slow ball that does and do exactly what happened in the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Oh,
the slip ball is coming in, and three batters strike out, strike one, strike two, and strike three right in a row as one ball travels to the catcher. That'd be cool. Anyway,
that's the immaculate inning.
That's the immaculate inning. One pitch, 9 strikes.
and of course Alvarez hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
So replaced on the roster by JD Martinez.
JD Martinez, yes.
So. But I think we were all in agreement numbers wise, but I can't leave Shohei off. He's my man.
No, you can't.
Well, he's an all-star. He would have been an all-star no matter what. All right, who's next?
All right. And we wrap it up with catching. The selection committee starting tonight at catcher is Alejandro Kirk. And the three of us did indeed unanimously pick Alejandro Kirk. And your starting pitcher. Actually, it's a little different what they pick.
Sure.
But they're picking it in order, so they don't actually they pick 10 starting pitchers or 9 starting, not 9 starting pitchers, one per inning. And then I don't know how they will have them go in because there's only 9 innings, and there's 4 relievers as well. But anyway, it's kind of weird.
You got to get 13 pitchers in over 9 innings.
Exactly.
It's like the Kansas City Royals the year they won the World Series. They used 12 pitchers a game.
Right. Exactly. Unfortunately. Okay. And we picked the selection committee, the first pitcher, they picked left-handed pitcher Shane McClanahan. And as did we. We picked him as well. So there you go. All right.
Oh, McClanahan.
Oh, rabbit. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the National League. There we go. We're going to do the National League now. So there we go. Let's bring it up to here. We are going to start with first base. First base was... Let me pull this back up again because there's a couple that we...
John Jacob.
Jingleheimer Schmidt. There we go.
Goldschlager.
Goldschlager.
First base that's actually starting tonight is Paul Goldschmidt. And we indeed picked Paul Goldschmidt as well. Second base. Starting night, Jazz Chisholm Jr. from Miami is the starting second baseman. We, however, unanimously decided that it actually should have been Jeff McNeil.
Although not as nearly as good a name.
No, not anywhere near as good a name as Jazz Chisholm.
Jazzholm or what's
Jazzholm. I don't think that's his name.
JCJ. But you know what?
That's his name on OnlyFans.
Somebody from every team has to go, and that includes the Marlins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what you call it? So Jeff McNeil, in fairness to Jeff McNeil, he is an all-star. He's a reserve. He's not a starter, but he's an all-star. So Jeff, we say Jeff McNeil. Anyway.
We all picked him.
All right.
But baseball doesn't listen to us.
This is correct. Okay. Third base. We said
Bugs Bunny.
Well, Bugs Bunny, right? Selection committee picked Manny Machado. And we said it should be Austin Riley.
Yeah.
Both are having great years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Riley's somebody most people don't know about. This guy's good.
Yeah, Austin Riley's having a great year.
Yeah.
And again,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, in fairness to Austin Riley, He wasn't even named. He's not an
Not an all-star.
Not an all-star.
He's one of his biggest snubs. I will say this about Machado. I think he's got to be. I mean, it's got to be at the top of the list for comeback player of the year, right?
I would say.
I
He's
not that he had a horrible years previously, but this is certainly his best year in a long time.
Yeah. And look, people know his name.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who love him, and there are a lot of people who hate him.
Well, he plays in a bigger market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But little popular. I can't say it was totally a popularity contest because he's a good player, and you're right, he's having his best year in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the fans did a better job this year of not just picking people by name recognition only.
right.
I feel like there's a little bit more. All
Yeah,
right,
I agree, but I
there
think,
wasn't that one where you scratch your head and go, "Oh, come on."
yeah,
Right.
I think this was more a case of that than a lot of the other picks.
Yeah.
But not completely a case of
No,
that.
Machado's having a great year.
Yeah. It's not a case where he doesn't deserve it at all, but everybody knows his name.
But I'm just shocked that Austin Riley didn't even get votes to get to even a reserve backup.
Did he miss some games?
I'm not sure. I'm not
All
sure.
right.
What a great year.
Next.
All right.
Well, I'll look that up and you guys move on.
Check it out while you do that. All right, moving on. Shortstop. The league picked Trey Turner, as did we. We agree with the league there. Trey Turner.
No,
That was
sure.
my dream shortstop to come to the Yankees, but
There
he
you
went
go.
somewhere else.
He did.
No, Riley didn't miss any games.
He did. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the outfield. We were mostly in agreement with it, but we're going to start with. We'll start with this one here. Hold on. Okay. We all said. Well, let's start with this. Ronald Acuna Jr. was picked by the. He's one of the starters tonight. I'll read them all. Jock Peterson is one of the starters tonight, and Mookie Betts. So Ronald Acuna Jr., Jock Peterson, and Mookie Betts. Those are your starting outfielders for the National League tonight. We all three agree on Mookie Betts. All three agree on Mookie Betts. All three of us agree on Starling Marte, who's not a starter.
Somebody way back said that this was the pickup of the year in the offseason. I wonder who that was.
Yeah, it would be you. But in all fairness to Starling Marte, he is on the reserves. He is an all-star, so he's there. And then, what you call it? Harry and I said Kyle Schwarber as the third outfielder for the National League. And obviously, it's Ronald Acuna Jr. Or Jock Peterson, for that matter. But however, Radio Pete actually said Jock Peterson.
So we all had Marte, we all had Betts.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had Schwarber, and I had Peterson.
Jock Peterson. Yes, you did.
So you were more in line with the fans of America.
There you go.
But none of us had Acuna.
None of us had Acuna. So there you go.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll take him on my team any day, though.
Yeah, this one was. I actually went back and forth between Peterson and Schwarber quite a bit, but there were just a couple things. You know, I mean, Schwarber's got more power numbers, but
Schwarber's power numbers are pretty hard to not pay attention to.
Yeah, they are. His average is terrible, and he strikes out a lot.
But his RBIs are just
Yeah, but he does have 15 or 16 more RBIs. But
this is very true.
And I probably should hate Jock Peterson. I don't know why.
He's a great player.
Wasn't he on Atlanta last year?
He was on Atlanta last year. He was one of the late season pickups, won the World Series, and then flew off to San Francisco.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess
flies in, wins a ring, takes off.
If I looked at it on a different day, I might have picked Schwarber, but it was 1 and 1A for me.
Gotcha. All right, cool. And in fairness to Kyle Schwarber, he is indeed on the reserve.
What's his average? He's not hitting that bad.
Schwarber?
Yeah.
216.
Yeah.
Is he that low? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was more. No,
but
it was more than that. It's more than that.
Well, this is according to Stathead Baseball.
I saw higher than that.
But his ops is like 846.
All right. All right. Anyway,
we'll check.
Moving on to DH for the National League. The National League picked Bryce Harper as the starter, as did we. We all picked Bryce Harper. However, Bryce Harper's not starting. He's sidelined with his injury, broken a hand, right? His thumb or whatever is broken.
Yeah.
So William Contreras from Atlanta was a reserve. He will start with Harper sidelined, meaning the Harper brothers will, the Contreras brothers,
Charlie Harper.
Charlie Harper, right? The Contreras brothers.
What was his brother's name on that show?
Charlie Harper.
Well, it wasn't that 2.5 Men.
2.5 Men, yeah. Charlie
Harper, and what was his
and,
brother? What's his name's name? Anyway,
Jake's the son. Who the hell's the father? It was the
chiropractor. What's his name?
Yeah, I'll think of it. Him. But yeah, the Harper brothers are starting for the National League.
They're announcing the game.
Exactly. They're calling the first inning. No, the Contreras brothers, Wilson and William Contreras will be starters for the National League at the All-Star game. So it's pretty cool. And Garrett Cooper.
Gary Cooper's coming back. It's gonna be star-studded.
Exactly. Garrett Cooper was named to the reserves because of Contreras moving up because Harper's injured. So anyway, we all agreed on that. Wilson Contreras is your starting catcher for the National League. We all agree 100%. Wilson Contreras is the National League, should be the National League starting catcher. And then last but not least, your number one starting pitcher for the National League is Sandy Alcantara, right? Sandy Alcantara from Miami. I gave the Mets a hard time the other day. Radio Pete picked him. However, Harry and I picked Tony Gonsolin. Yeah. And with all due respect, he is one of the starting pitchers. He's the fifth starting pitcher.
Isn't he 11-0 with a 1?
He's 11-0 with a 1.76 ERA. Yeah, 1.67 ERA. Yeah. And he's got the lowest ERA, and he's not lost a game.
Yeah, and number 2 should have been Verlander.
Right.
Yeah, this is a case where, again, I look at the numbers and I agree with you guys.
Mm-hmm. But you pick who the people want to see.
No, I take into account the fact that Alcantara plays for a horrible team, and yet he's pitched very, very well. And yes, the Gonsolin's 11-0. Who's he play for?
Gonsolin? He's a Dodger.
Yeah, one of the best teams in baseball. Now, not saying his numbers aren't.
He's got a 1.76 ERA. He's 11-0.
Are not spectacular.
I don't care if he plays for the 27 Yankees. That's better than Whitey
He's
Ford.
on a much better team. Alcantara's ERA is 1.73.
The team you play for has nothing to do with your ERA.
It has to do with wins, though.
Right.
True.
I would just like to point out one thing, though.
Yes.
All right. This is the thing. Here's my thing. Okay. And this isn't sour grapes. This is just cause for just fodder for conversation. The Mets, as Harry has even said, are obviously but according to Harry before, because of what the pitching staff is right now and everything else, the best team in baseball. Okay. There is not one starter on the National League for the Mets. There are a number of Mets. Pete Alonso is a reserve first baseman.
Right.
Jeff McNeil's reserve second baseman. Starling Marte is a reserved outfielder.
Marte and McNeil should be starting, but they're just
Marte and McNeil should be starting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Pete Alonso, who's having a decent season, Paul Goldschmidt is just having a ridiculous.
Well, and if you look at the other first baseman in the National League, holy smokes! I mean, you could start an entire team with just first basemen from the National League.
Right.
There's some people having great years.
CJ Cron is having a great year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And of course Evan Diaz as well. He's on. He's the second. He's not the starter. He's the second reliever there, but picked, I should say. But in any event, so 4 Mets, none of them starters. 2 Miami Marlins, both of them starters. And they're 14 games behind the Mets. No, 8.5 games behind the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a Yankees fan. I don't think Giancarlo Stanton should be starting. I think he deserves to be an All-Star. He's actually having a pretty good year.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think he should be starting? No. I think that's kind of a, new. And some of these other Mets, vote wise, probably got a little closer because of the market that they're in. Although I do think those two guys especially deserve to start. I mean, look, it's the All-Star game. There's a lot of great players, and the pitching this year this might be a low-scoring All-Star game.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with you. I mean, look at the rest of the starting pitchers, and some of the reserves as well. Well, the reserves, take the reserves for the American League. Jose Trevino. Luis Arias, we talked about before, but Andres Gimenez, former Met in Cleveland, is having a great year. Jose Ramirez in Cleveland, great year. Xander Bogaerts, we've talked about. Byron Buxton, having a great year in the outfield in Minnesota. Kyler Tucker, George Springer. We talked about Benintendi. Julio Rodriguez from Seattle. And then we talked about Alvarez and JD Martinez as well. But starting pitchers, after McClanahan, you got Justin Verlander. It's named. He's there tonight. Alek Manoah, Nasty Nestor Cortez, Garrett Cole, Shohei Ohtani. So Shohei Ohtani is there for two things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be has there been that before?
No. Babe Ruth, right? Maybe if they had
Babe
All-Star
Ruth,
games.
Yeah, exactly. Paul Blackburn, Martin Perez, and Framber Valdez. And then the relievers for the American League are Clay Holmes, Emmanuel Clace, Jorge Lopez, and Gregory Soto. The National League, the reserves, Travis d'Arnaud, catcher. Travis d'Arnaud's having a great year. He's had a lot of good years down in Atlanta. I mean,
he's a good player.
He's a good player. Pete Alonso, we talked about. C.J. Cron, Jeff McNeil, we talked about. Nolan Arenado. Dansby Swanson,
another guy, bounce back year.
Sure, absolutely. Dansby Swanson from Atlanta. Atlanta has a lot of good players as well. Talked about Kyler Schwarber and Starling Marte. Ian Happ from Chicago. Juan Soto from Washington. And then we talked about Contreras and Garrett Cooper. Starting pitchers after Alcantara, you got Corbin Burns, Joe Musgrove, Max Fried, Tony Gonsolin, we said already. Luis Castillo, Clayton Kershaw, and Carlos Rodon from the Giants.
I mean, this is going to be a good game. I just want to throw a couple things real quick. This is first baseman in the National League.
Go for it.
Okay, Paul Goldschmidt, we all know, 329 average, 14 home runs, 51 RBIs. Freddie Freeman, 311 average, 12 home runs, 56 RBIs. Josh Bell, the Washington Nationals, 304. And by the way, if you're hitting over 300 this year, I think that's equivalent of hitting like 320.
Yeah.
It's just, it's accomplishing something.
Sure.
Okay, Josh Bell, 47 RBIs, 12 home runs. CJ Cron, 302, 16 and 56. Mm-hmm. Pete Alonso, 18 and 55, hitting 280. Eric Hosmer, 272, 31 RBIs. Matt Olson, remember? Lost Freddie Freeman, but you gained Matt Olson. Well, he's only hitting 250, but 14 home runs, 51 RBIs. Mm-hmm. I mean, Rowdy Tellez from Milwaukee, has 49 RBIs and 16 home runs. This is
a lot of good first basemen in the National League. That's what it boils down to.
And it's just crazy. Yeah, and if you look at you got Ty France in Seattle hitting 321 with 45 RBIs. I don't think he made the All-Star team, right?
Nope.
No. Okay. Jose Abreu, 294 with 32 RBIs, 9 home runs. There's a lot of really good first basemen in this in Major League Baseball. It's right. Pretty. I mean, even Anthony Rizzo didn't make the All-Star team, did he?
No.
I mean, Rizzo's got 50 RBIs, 21 home runs. The Yankees, I think, made the right decision between him and Voit. I mean, there's definitely some players who got snubbed, but I think overall it's a pretty good selection of the best in baseball right now.
I agree. And to round it out on the relievers, Josh Hader actually obviously got picked as the top reliever. Edwin Diaz, we talked about. Ryan Helsley, David Bednar, and Joe Multiply is there as well from Arizona. So there you go. That rounds out the starters and the reserves for this evening. So at that point, I think that should bring us to what we always do at this point in the evening, our section of old balls. All right, why don't you tell us who this week's old balls is?
Well, it's not really old, but it's the oldest player in the All-Star game, and that is none other than Mr. Albert Pujols. I think we all know about Albert Pujols. Probably will go down as one of the top 5 first basemen ever play the game.
I'd say.
296 career batting average, over 3,300 hits, 685 home runs, and over 2,100 runs batted, and 2-time World Series champion, 11-time All-Star. I don't know if I think this was a special designation this year, but this is his first All-Star game since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a legacy selection.
Legacy selection along with Miggy Cabrera.
Cabrera on the American League side, yeah. 2
no doubt first ballot Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something that isn't done very much, a 3-time MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Including back-to-back years and Rookie of the Year in 2001. Look, he's Albert Pujols,
mm-hmm.
and but 42 years old in the All-Star game. I'm happy to see it. So congratulations, Albert Pujols. If this is indeed your last year, or if you're going to pull an Ozzy Osbourne and have one more tour, then we'll come on. You got to keep up with Tom Brady. You can do it.
You can do it.
He's also the oldest active player in Major League Baseball.
Yes, he is. So, there you go. All right. There you go. This Albert Pujols, this week's old balls. All right. Cool. All right. What else do we want to talk about tonight? Anything on this fun show? Before we let everybody go, and
marginally only halfway over.
Exactly.
We talked last week a little bit how it's not a little more than halfway,
mm-hmm.
but we got a long way to go. I don't feel comfortable. I think you're going to see some people make a run here, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens at the trade deadline.
Yep, I think the trade deadline is going to be interesting. The end of this month is going to be pretty interesting. So
yes,
are we going to see another team that goes the kind of the Braves route,
the full Monty?
Yeah. Brings in more than 1 or 2 guys, and
you know what I mean.
Do they have to? Does anybody really have to this year?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Is
anybody close enough to be able to do that?
Well, yeah. I mean, the Braves, look, they lost a big piece that caused them to, which they, replaced with.
They had multiple major injuries last year.
Right. So, and if that happens to somebody else, but like anybody who's kind of in it at this point probably would have to have some significant injuries for them to sort of maybe consider that strategy. But
I mean, I think, I hope that, speaking from the Yankees, I wouldn't mind seeing another arm. Another pitching has been great, but if there's a kind of a flex pitcher who could be a starter or a middle reliever,
mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. And I'd really like to see the Yankees try to go out and get Andrew Benintendi. I think he's exactly what they need. He's a guy who can hit for average, get on base. He's a great outfielder. And I think he can really severely upgrade them in the outfield, both offensively, obviously, and defensively. I just think that's a weakness for them right now. Even though they have 2 starting all-stars in the outfield, they look like a starting, they look like the starting front line for BYU basketball as opposed to baseball outfielders. I just think it would help alleviate some of the wear and tear on Judge and Stanton, and give them somebody else that they could float around in that lineup to really improve their on base percentage. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, given Judge's before this year recent history with injury, the longer he goes without getting hurt, the more likely it is he'll be out for the rest of the season. There, I said, or at least miss some time.
Well, and I think the elephant in the room with Judge is that, look, he's on pace to break the Yankee record for home runs. And I think he's sort of mentioned that if he's not going to, they're not going to back him off and rest him if he's on pace. So even if the Yankees have a big lead, which they may, I think he's going to play, but it would at least allow him to DH occasionally and things like that. I think they need to make an upgrade from Joey Gallo.
Yeah, and listen, when the rosters expand, they'll sort of have that period of time where they can kind of audition, you know what I mean, some of those young guys and see if you get what they almost inevitably seem to get is somebody who comes out of nowhere and has a great, month or month and a half or whatever and helps them win a title or something. So
I also think that the Mets will be active. I think it's really going to be telling how DeGrom and Scherzer kind of bounce back here. I don't think the Mets are done. I think the Mets are this is their chance to win a World Series, and I think their ownership. I think they got their pockets are open, their checkbooks out. I think the Mets are going to be able to draw some people there.
I agree. I mean, with the game I was at on Saturday, 2 weeks ago, for the Keith Hernandez day. 9 days ago, whatever, bobblehead day. Thank you, and retiring his number too. Was the sellout. It was the second sellout this season, and expect more. Especially, obviously, there's going to be sellouts when they play the Yankees. There,
anytime they give away a bobblehead,
every time they give, especially a Keith Hernandez bobblehead. Yeah, and but in any event, no, there's plenty of money there, and Steve Cohen.
When is the Lee Mazzilli bobblehead?
The Lee Mazzilli bobblehead is in December. You got to go to December.
If the Mets have a Lee Mazzilli bobblehead day, I will fly out and go to that game.
There you go.
My favorite Met of all time.
It's not a game. You just have to show up at the field in December, and you can get the Mazzilli bobblehead.
Show up at a Kmart.
Well, actually, Mr. Met drives around in the little in the golf cart that the relievers used to come in, and he just drives around the streets around Citi Field, just throws them out of a bag. You happen to be on the sidewalk, you get
it's actually an old Fonzie bobblehead. They just put a Mets uniform on it and call it Lee Mazzilli.
Exactly. Fonzie bobblehead.
Hey.
Yeah, we're talking about Arthur Ponzarelli, not Gordo Alfonso, folks. Anyway, yeah. So I think you're right, though. I think the Mets are going to make a couple moves. They're going to have to get a couple of arms in the bullpen. Going down the stretch, especially with, hopefully they're going to have a healthy DeGrom back for the rest of the season and into the playoffs, and hopefully Mad Max stays up as well. But another arm would be nice, and a couple of bullpen arms, because recent situations and meltdowns and stuff, and there hasn't been many of them, but there's been a few recently, or at least a couple recently. So they could use a little bullpen help, and another bat is always good too. But I don't think Uncle Steve is going to have a problem writing a couple of checks in late July, early August there. So the only thing they can't do is they can't touch the top 4 or 5 guys in the minors, in their minor league system, in the farm system. Alvarez, he's the catcher, probably as early as next year for the Mets. And between Batty and Mauricio and the other guys that they have down there, they can't touch them. So they got some other younger, a little bit further back prospects. They can move them, and obviously some cash too and stuff like that. And maybe a piece in the that they have on the field, but yeah, they can't touch the. They can't touch the farm system, but I don't think that's going to be. Yeah,
they never do stuff like that.
Well, they used to. They have done stuff.
I was saying that sarcastically.
Right, they've never done that. That's why I'm saying it. Hopefully that Steve doesn't do that, but we'll see. But I do agree with Harry though on the whole Benintendi thing. That would be a perfect fit in the Bronx. Send Joey Gallo down to Kansas City. And let him.
And just remember, folks, I said the Mets were going to fade in the second half, and I was right about one other thing. So,
what was the one that you were right about?
The Nets not winning a title with the Big Three.
You were. Well, right there, folks. You've heard it here. That must mean the Mets are going to fade in the second half.
I don't think the Mets are going to fade.
You heard it here first.
But they're going to have some challenges.
Yeah, they will. They will. No, look, it's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to World Series. It's not even a foregone conclusion at this point in the season that they're actually going to go to the playoffs. But we'll see what happens.
They'll be fine.
I think they'll be fine, but we'll see what happens.
They'll be fine.
All right. Do we have an over/under tonight?
We do not.
We do not have an over/under.
Nope.
No All-Star game over/under.
How about this? Over/under total runs scored in the All-Star game.
Then we can talk about it next week on the show.
All right.
Let's
see.
Let's see what the actual over/under is.
What you mean, like Vegas?
Yeah. What does Vegas say the over/under total runs? Both teams total runs, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Check it out. What is it? If I had to guess, I'm going to say 24. Yeah, seriously. 8.5.
I don't know. I'm trying to find it.
There's got to be a listing somewhere.
Yeah, it's just, whenever you want something.
That's from last year. You want to know last year's?
Sure.
Can't find this year's. We'll look at last year's.
Oh, let's see. Here we go. Well, the All-Star Game odds have the National League at -115, and the the American League at -105. So the National League is actually
favored.
Oh, no, this is from last year.
No,
this was just written. This was written in February.
Mm-hmm.
So forget that.
I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, why don't they have the?
Interesting.
Why don't they have the odds?
What was it? Let's take the score of last year's game. What was the 2021?
2021 American League won 5-2. So that's 7.
Okay, 7. So let's say 8. Over/under is 8.
All right. Harry, you first.
Going under.
You're going under.
Going American League and under.
All right. Pete, you next.
8, huh?
Well, I guess we have to go 8.5, right?
It'll be 8.5, yeah.
8.5.
That's a tough one. A lot of good pitchers. A lot of good hitters.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over.
All right.
Who do you think is going to win, American League or National League?
The American League, of course.
All right.
Because they always do.
I'm going under.
Going under. Interesting.
I'm going under.
Two unders and 1 over.
And I'm also saying the National League.
There's the difference. There's the differentiator. Well,
And
you're the only one who picked the National League.
All right. All right. So Harry's going under 8.5 and the American League winning. Pete is going over 8.5 and the American League winning. I'm going under 8.5 and the National League winning. So there you go. All right. All right. Well, there you go.
Enjoy the game.
All right, folks. Anything else we want to tell everybody before we leave, before they can go enjoy the game tonight?
Nope.
No, let's not keep them from it. There's nachos to be made and
That's right.
beers to be put into beer koozies, to keep them cold.
Yeah. And Stranger Things on Netflix.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We will definitely do that then. And according to this just in territory, there's a no box Lee Mazzilli bobblehead on Sportsnet New York in good condition on eBay.
I'm on it. If you guys want to get me something for Christmas, there you go.
That's the thing to get.
If you could find a Scott Brocious one to match, then.
Does he have to be going yard at the time, or
No.
Just sit there and bobble.
I think one of the Lee Mazzilli bobbleheads I saw he was playing for a minor league team.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we will definitely check into that.
It's well traveled.
It's well traveled, right?
Yes. Yeah.
We'll have to make that happen.
Yeah. I'm not sure I want too many used bobbleheads.
I don't know that you want that. I got a few in the room here. I got the Keith
I'm
Hernandez.
sure you do.
I got the Keith Hernandez from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've got a Degromination Day when he won his second Cy Young, and I also have. I'll have to pull it down one of the shows. I have Thor, Noah Syndergaard, dressed as Han Solo, sitting next to Chewie in the. It's a bobblehead, so it's Thor dressed as Han Solo, sitting next to Chewbacca in the the controls of the Millennium Falcon. So.
Now, does that make it into Christmas Town when Christmas Town gets put up in your house?
No, it does not. No,
none of the bobbleheads make it into Christmas.
Bobbleheads do not make it into
There's
Christmas.
There's not a Santa bobblehead or a Rudolph bobblehead.
They are not part of that whole entire
collection. I think you need to introduce a bobblehead.
We might have to work on that.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
I like that. So yeah, because it's scale wise, it doesn't really fit, right? Because you have all these houses that are but this big, and then you have a bobblehead sitting next to it. So.
Scale is irrelevant when it comes to Christmas decorations.
There you go.
Yeah, it could be the
abominable snow monster,
radioactive mutant.
If you could find a Yukon Cornelius bobblehead,
that is different. That's different. Lee Mazzilli. Lee
Mazzilli as Yukon Cornelius.
That would work. Yes. I think we're gonna have to work on that. All right. Maybe we'll actually put in to have one of them made, and then we could actually.
Can we get Lee Mazzilli on the show? Come on.
I will definitely work on it.
We could probably get him every other week and just have this week with Lee and just ask him a strange question.
This week, Lee week.
What's your best rigatoni baked ziti recipe?
What's your best memory back? What's your best memory back in the day when you were playing of rigatoni? What was your favorite restaurant to go to after a game?
That's right.
I think we'll have to work on that. All right. On that note, let's wrap this show for today. Everybody can get ready to watch tonight's All-Star game. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And, of course, all of the shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube, usually every Wednesday night around 7:30 Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful time watching the All-Star game tonight. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next week, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.